The Oscar statue was cold in her hands, but not as cold as the voice on the phone saying, "He never loved you." 37 million people watched Maya Rivers give her acceptance speech that night. Best Actress, 29 years old, Hollywood's newest Golden Girl. She thanked her parents, her agent, her director. She did not thank Ethan Cole, because he wasn't there, and the woman on the phone was about to tell her why. This is the story of how a girl from nowhere became a star, and how the man who built her shattered under the weight of what he'd created. What you're about to hear will change everything you think you know about love, sacrifice, and the price of fame. Some stories have happy endings. This one has truth. March 12th, 2023, the Crown Theater, Los Angeles. Maya Rivers stands on stage in a champagne silk gown. The Oscar is heavier than she imagined. Cold, real. She's dreamed of this moment since she was 7 years old, watching the ceremony on her grandmother's TV in Bakersfield, California. Now she's here, and she's never felt more alone. Her speech was flawless, gracious, humble, funny in all the right places. She made it look effortless, but her hands were shaking, not from nerves, from the phone vibrating in her clutch purse. 17 missed calls, all from the same block number. The first one had come during her category announcement. She'd ignored it. The second came as she walked to the stage. The third, fourth, fifth, as she stood at the microphone. And then backstage, surrounded by photographers and PR handlers and champagne that tasted like victory, she finally answered. Maya Rivers, a woman's voice. Calm, clinical, almost pitying. Yes? My name is Claire Whitmore. I think we need to talk about Ethan Cole. Maya's blood went cold. Who is this? I'm the woman Ethan was with before you, the one he built into a star, the one he destroyed when he was done. Maya looked around, cameras flashing, people congratulating her. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do, because he did the exact same thing to you that he did to me, and to Sarah Chen before me, and to Olivia Park before her. The room was spinning. You're lying. I wish I was. But you need to know the truth, Maya, before you waste any more of your life looking for him. Where is he? Claire's voice was soft, almost kind. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Ethan Cole doesn't love you. He never did. What he loves is the process, the discovery, the building, the creation. And when the creation is complete, she paused, he disappears, just like he's disappeared on you. Maya felt the Oscar slip slightly in her grip. I don't believe you. Then let me ask you something. When's the last time you actually saw him? Maya opened her mouth to answer and realized she couldn't remember. To understand how Maya Rivers ended up holding an Oscar while her world collapsed, we need to go back to the beginning, to the night she met Ethan, and to understand why that meeting would destroy them both. 2 years earlier, before the Oscar, before the fame, before Maya Rivers became a name that mattered, she was just Maya, 27 years old, working 3 jobs, auditioning for roles she never got, living in a studio apartment in North Hollywood that smelled like mildew and broken dreams, and she was about to meet the man who would change everything. She just didn't know the cost yet. Thursday night, 8:47 p.m. Maya was performing in a workshop production of A Streetcar Named Desire, playing Blanche Dubois. 23 people in the audience. 22 of them were friends and family of the cast. One was Ethan Cole, 41 years old, once the most promising actor of his generation. He'd been in 3 Oscar-nominated films before he turned 30, starred opposite Catherine Whitfield, worked with Richard Castellano, had dinner with Vincent Marino, the kind of actor whose name alone could open a movie. And then, something broke. A breakdown during a West End theater shows in 2015, a DUI in 2016, a public meltdown at Riviera Film Festival in 2017. By 2020, he hadn't worked in 18 months. Studios wouldn't touch him. Directors wouldn't return his calls. He'd gone from leading man to liability. But he was still Ethan Cole, and he still understood acting better than anyone in Hollywood. The performance. Maya didn't know he was there. She was just trying to survive the play. It was the fourth night of a 5-night run, and they'd sold maybe 15 tickets total. But she gave it everything, poured herself into Blanche's desperation, her delusions, her desperate need to be loved. And Ethan saw something. Not just talent, something raw, unpolished, real. The kind of actress who didn't know how good she was yet. The kind he could shape, build, create. After the show, Maya was taking off her stage makeup when there was a knock on the dressing room door. "Come in!" She expected one of the other actors. Instead, Ethan walked in, and Maya's breath caught. She recognized him immediately. How could she not? "I'm sorry to just show up like this," he said. His voice was softer than she expected. Tired. "I saw your performance tonight." Maya's heart was pounding. "Oh my God, thank you. I mean, wow. I'm a huge fan of your work. You were extraordinary. I, really, really." He stepped closer. "You have something most actors spend their whole lives trying to find. You're not performing, you're living." Maya felt tears prick her eyes. No one had ever said anything like that to her. "Can I take you for coffee?" Ethan asked. "I'd like to talk to you about your career." She said yes, and that single decision set everything in motion. Because Ethan Cole wasn't just offering mentorship, he was offering transformation, and Maya had no idea what that would cost. Late night diner, Metro Diner, Los Angeles, 11:34 p.m. They sat in a corner booth for 3 hours, talked about acting, about craft, about the roles that haunt you and the ones that save you. Ethan asked about her training, her background, her dreams. Maya told him everything. How she grew up in Bakersfield, single mom, no money, no connections. How she'd come to LA at 22 with $800 and a dream. How she'd been auditioning for 5 years and had exactly 7 credited roles, all of them one-liners. How she was starting to think maybe she wasn't good enough. Ethan listened, really listened, and then he said something that changed her life. "You're better than good enough. You're extraordinary. You just haven't had the right opportunity yet. I've auditioned for everything." I'm not talking about auditions. I'm talking about real work, training, building a foundation that can support a real career. Maya's eyes narrowed slightly. "Are you offering to, what exactly?" "I'm offering to work with you, privately, teach you everything I know, help you build the kind of career that lasts." "Why?" Ethan smiled, sad, genuine. "Because I see myself in you, the hunger, the raw talent, the belief that if you just work hard enough, you'll make it." "Did you make it?" His smile faded. "I did, and then I destroyed it. I don't want to watch you make the same mistakes I did. I can't afford a private coach. I'm not asking for money." "Then what are you asking for?" Ethan looked at her, really looked at her. Trust, commitment, the willingness to do the work even when it's terrifying. Maya sat back, studied him. This was Ethan Cole, the Ethan Cole, offering to mentor her for free. It felt too good to be true, but she was desperate, and desperate people take risks. "Okay," she said, "I'm in." And just like that, Maya's life changed. She thought she was getting a mentor. What she was actually getting was something far more dangerous. Because Ethan didn't just want to teach her how to act. He wanted to build her from the ground up, reshape her, make her perfect. And perfection has a price. The first 3 months were brutal. Ethan had her working 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, scene study, character work, voice training, movement. He was relentless, demanding, brilliant. He'd stop her mid-scene and make her start over because she'd emphasized the wrong syllable. He'd make her repeat a single line 50 times until she found the truth underneath the words. He pushed her harder than anyone ever had. And slowly, something in Maya began to change. She stopped performing, started being. She could feel it, the difference, the transformation. She was becoming the actress she'd always known she could be, but she was also becoming dependent on his approval, his validation, his attention. Ethan became the center of her world. She stopped seeing her friends, stopped auditioning for other things. She told herself it was dedication. It was actually something else. Obsession. 3 months in, something changed between them. It was subtle at first. The way his hand would linger on her shoulder when he adjusted her posture. The way he'd look at her when she nailed a scene. Like she was the most fascinating person he'd ever seen. The way their sessions started running late. 4 hours became 5. 5 became 6. They'd end up talking until midnight. About everything. About nothing. About their childhoods. Their fears. Their dreams. And one night in Ethan's living room, after running a scene from Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? He kissed her. Maya froze. Every part of her knew this was wrong. He was her mentor, her teacher. There was a power dynamic here that made this inappropriate. But she'd been falling for him for months. The way he saw her, really saw her. The way he believed in her when no one else did. So she kissed him back. And when they finally pulled apart, Ethan looked terrified. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. Don't apologize. Well, this changes things. I know. We should stop. The lessons, No. Maya's voice was firm. I don't want to stop. Any of it. Ethan searched her face. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. That night, Maya Rivers and Ethan Cole crossed a line. Teacher and student became something else. Something deeper. Something dangerous. And neither of them understood what they just set in motion. Because every great love story has a turning point. The moment where everything changes. This was theirs. And there was no going back. They tried to keep it professional. They really did. For about 3 weeks. But the pull between them was too strong. By Christmas 2020, they were inseparable. Maya moved into Ethan's house in Laurel Canyon. A mid-century modern with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the entire city. It felt like a dream. She'd wake up next to Ethan, train with Ethan, fall asleep with Ethan. She was living the life she'd fantasized about. But there were complications. Ethan's career was still in free fall. His agent had dropped him. His publicist quit. Studios had blacklisted him. He was radioactive. And he was drinking. Not every day, not obviously. But Maya would find empty bottles hidden in the garage, in the bathroom cabinet, behind books in his office. When she'd ask about it, he'd smile and say he was fine. But she could see the cracks. The mornings when he couldn't get out of bed. The nights when he'd disappear for hours and come back smelling like whiskey and regret. The times he'd snap at her over nothing, then apologize so profusely she'd end up comforting him. But she told herself it would get better, that her love could save him. That's what people in love tell themselves, isn't it? That they can fix each other. March 2021, Ethan got Maya an audition. He'd called in a favor with a director he'd worked with years ago. Marcus Chen Associate, independent film, small budget but serious pedigree. The role, a trauma survivor trying to rebuild her life after witnessing a crime. Maya prepared for 2 weeks. Ethan coached her through every line, every beat, every emotional shift. And when she walked into that audition room, she was perfect. 2 days later, they called. She got the part. Maya Rivers, lead role, her first real film. She screamed when she got the call, cried, couldn't breathe. Ethan held her, smiling. I told you, he whispered. I told you that you were extraordinary. Production started in May 2021. 4-week shoot in Northern California. It was the hardest thing Maya had ever done. 14-hour days, emotionally devastating scenes, physical exhaustion, but she loved every second of it. And Ethan was there. Not on set. He wasn't allowed that kind of access. But every night, she'd call him, tell him about the day, ask for notes. He'd talk her through the next day's scenes, remind her of the character's truth. He became her anchor, her compass, the voice in her head that knew what to do when she didn't. And, when filming wrapped, Maya knew she'd done something special. She could feel it. This was the role that would change everything. And she was right. But what Maya didn't know was that while she was becoming a star, Ethan was falling apart. The woman who would eventually call her on Oscar night. Claire Whitmore? She was about to enter the picture, and she'd been watching them the whole time. Claire Whitmore was 34 years old when she first saw Maya Rivers' name attached to a film project. She was sitting in her apartment in Silver Lake, scrolling through industry news, and there it was, a casting announcement. Rising actress Maya Rivers to star in indie thriller. Claire's blood went cold because she recognized the pattern. Unknown actress, intensive private coaching, Ethan Cole's fingerprints all over it. She picked up her phone, dialed a number she hadn't called in 3 years. "Sarah, it's Claire. He's doing it again." Claire Whitmore had been Maya Rivers 5 years ago. Struggling actress, raw talent, no connections. And then Ethan Cole had seen her in a student film, offered to mentor her, changed her life. She'd starred in 2 films under his guidance, won a Critics' Choice Award, was being called the next big thing. And then one day, Ethan had simply left. No explanation, no goodbye, just gone. Claire had a breakdown, lost roles, developed anxiety so severe she could barely leave her house. It took her 3 years to rebuild her life. And in that time, she discovered something. She wasn't the first. There was Sarah Chen, an actress who'd worked with Ethan in 2013. Same pattern, same ending. There was Olivia Park, 2016, same story. Ethan Cole had a type. Raw talent, desperate for guidance, willing to give him everything. He'd build them into stars, and then he'd vanish, leaving them with success they couldn't handle and abandonment they couldn't process. Claire had spent 2 years trying to find out why, and now she was watching him do it again, to Maya Rivers. Claire told herself she wouldn't interfere. Maya was an adult. She could make her own choices. But Claire knew something Maya didn't. Ethan didn't just build actresses, he consumed them, used their success to fill the void his own failures had created. And when they outgrew him, when they didn't need him anymore, he couldn't handle it, so he'd leave first, always. Claire had been tracking Maya's career for months, watching her rise, seeing the same interviews, the same energy, the same trajectory, and she knew. It was only a matter of time before Ethan did to Maya what he'd done to all of them. So Claire started documenting, taking notes, saving articles, building a file, because when Maya Rivers' world collapsed, Claire was going to be there to tell her the truth. But Claire didn't know everything. She didn't know that Ethan was different with Maya, that maybe, just maybe, this time he'd actually fallen in love, that maybe he wasn't just building another star, maybe he was trying to save himself. The question was, would it be enough? September 2021, Mountain View Film Festival. Maya's film premiered, and the response was explosive. Standing ovation, industry buzz. The film reporter called her performance a revelation. Within 2 weeks, she had 3 agents fighting to represent her. Studio offers, talk show appearances, magazine covers. Maya Rivers was becoming a name, and Ethan was so proud. He'd stand in the back of rooms during her interviews, watching her shine. She'd always find him afterward. "How did I do?" "Perfect. You were perfect." But something was shifting. Maya was being invited to parties Ethan wasn't welcome at. Directors wanted to meet with her. Without him, her new agent Donna was brilliant, connected, powerful, and she didn't like Ethan. "He's holding you back," Donna said over lunch one day. "You need to establish yourself as independent, not as Ethan Cole's protege." "He's not holding me back. He's the reason I'm here." And that's beautiful. But Maya, his reputation is toxic. If you're seen as his creation, that toxicity will attach to you. You need to create some distance. Maya felt sick. "I'm not going to abandon him. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to protect your career." That night, Maya told Ethan about the conversation. He went very quiet. "She's right," he said finally. "What?" "You should distance yourself from me, publicly." "Ethan, no, I'm not doing that." "Maya, look at me. I'm a liability. Everyone knows it. If you're going to have the career you deserve, I don't care about that." "You should." The argument escalated. Voices raised, doors slammed. It was their first real fight, and it revealed something terrifying. Ethan believed he wasn't good enough for her anymore. and Maya was terrified he might leave. The film that was supposed to launch Maya's career was also the thing that would destroy her relationship with Ethan, because success changes people. And sometimes the person who helps you reach the top can't follow you there, not without breaking. January 2022, Oscar nominations announced. Maya Rivers, Best Actress nominee, 28 years old, first nomination. She was the youngest nominee in her category, and the entire industry was watching. Ethan held her while she cried. Happy tears, disbelieving tears. "You did it," he whispered. "We did it." But that distinction was becoming harder to maintain. Every interview asked the same questions. Who's your acting coach? How did you prepare for this role? Who influenced your performance? And Maya would mention Ethan every single time. Ethan Cole has been my mentor, my teacher, my everything. I wouldn't be here without him. The first few times, it was touching. By the 10th interview, it was becoming a narrative. Maya Rivers, from unknown to Oscar nominee, thanks to disgraced actor Ethan Cole. Is Ethan Cole using Maya Rivers to resurrect his career? The complicated relationship between Maya Rivers and her controversial mentor. The think pieces wrote themselves, and Ethan started drinking more. February 2022, Maya was doing 6 interviews a day, photo shoots, award shows, industry events. Ethan was staying home, drinking alone, watching her succeed, and hating himself for resenting it. Because he didn't resent her. He resented what her success highlighted. His failure, his irrelevance, his inability to function in the world she was now part of. One night, Maya came home from the Film Actors Guild Awards, found Ethan passed out on the couch, empty bottle on the floor. She sat next to him, cried quietly. This was the man who'd given her everything, and she was watching him disappear. The next morning, she tried to talk to him. You need help, real help, therapy, rehab if necessary. I'm fine. You're not fine, Ethan. You're destroying yourself. I'm happy for you, Maya. I am. Then why does it feel like I'm losing you? Ethan looked at her, and his eyes were so sad. Because you are. March 2022, 3 weeks before the Oscars. Maya got the call. She'd booked her next film, a Thomas Brennan project, $20 million payday, opposite Daniel Park. It was the role of a lifetime. She called Ethan immediately. He didn't answer. She rushed home, found him in his office, staring at his computer screen. Ethan, did you hear? I got the Brennan film. He didn't look at her. That's amazing. Congratulations. His voice was flat, empty. What's wrong? He finally turned to face her. I just got dropped by my last agent. No one will represent me anymore. I'm done, Maya. My career is over. Maya felt her heart break. Then we'll figure something else out. You can produce, direct, teach. I don't want to do those things. I want to act, and no one will let me. Because of the drinking, because I'm past my expiration date. He stood up, angry now. I'm 43 years old. I'm not bankable. I'm not relevant. I'm the guy who used to be somebody. You're still somebody to me. I'm your charity case. Don't say that. It's true, you feel guilty leaving me behind. But Maya, you're supposed to leave me behind. That's how this works. I don't want this without you. Ethan's expression softened. He walked over, took her face in his hands. Yes, you do. You just don't know it yet. And then he kissed her. Gentle, final, like goodbye. 2 days later, Ethan Cole disappeared. No note, no call, no explanation. He withdrew $15,000 from their joint account and vanished. Maya reported him missing. Police said he was an adult, probably just needed space. But Maya knew. This wasn't space. This was abandonment, and she had no idea why. For 3 weeks, Maya searched, called everyone they knew, checked hospitals, checked morgues, nothing. Ethan Cole had simply evaporated. Her agent told her to focus on the Oscars. Her publicist told her not to mention him in interviews. Her therapist told her he'd made his choice. But Maya couldn't let go. She hired a private investigator, searched through Ethan's office, his emails, his phone records, looking for clues. And that's when she found it, a folder on his computer, labeled The Others. Inside were files, photos, articles, notes about other actresses, Claire Whitmore, Sarah Chen, Olivia Park, women Maya had never heard of, and next to each name, detailed timelines, when Ethan had met them, when he'd started coaching them, when they'd gotten their first roles, when he'd left. The pattern was identical each time. 2 years, sometimes 3. Build them up. Watch them succeed, disappear. Maya felt like she'd been punched in the stomach. She wasn't special. She was a pattern, a type. She was just the latest in a series of projects, the newest star in Ethan Cole's collection. Maya sat in Ethan's office for hours, staring at those files, trying to make sense of it. Had he ever loved her? Or was she just another actress he was sculpting, and another validation of his own talent? The phone rang, unknown number. She answered. Maya Rivers. Yes. My name is Claire Whitmore. And that's how it started. The phone call that would rewrite Maya's entire understanding of her relationship. The woman on the other end had been where Maya was, had loved Ethan, had been left by Ethan, and she had a story to tell. One that would change everything Maya thought she knew about the man she loved. I know what you're going through, Claire said. I've been there. You were with Ethan? 5 years ago. He found me, trained me, built my career, and then one day he was just gone. Maya's throat was tight. Did he ever tell you why? No, but I figured it out eventually. Ethan Cole doesn't build actresses because he loves acting. He builds them because he can't fix himself. So he fixes other people, makes them into what he wishes he could still be. That's not, we were in love. Were you, or did he make you believe you were because that's part of the process? Maya felt tears streaming down her face. I don't know anymore. Maya, I'm not calling to hurt you. I'm calling because you deserve to know the truth before you spend the rest of your life wondering. Ethan Cole is brilliant. He's talented. He sees things in people that they can't see in themselves. But he's also broken in ways that can't be fixed. And he will take you down with him if you let him. Where is he? I don't know. But I know he'll reach out eventually, when he needs something, when he's ready to play the cycle again. And you'll have to decide if you want to keep being part of it. What did you decide? Claire's voice was steady, certain. I decided I wanted my life back, my career, my sanity. I decided that loving someone who couldn't love me back was killing me. So I let him go. How? I stopped searching, stopped hoping, stopped waiting for an explanation that was never going to come. And I built a life without him. Did it work? Eventually. But it took years, Maya. Years. Don't make the same mistake I did. Don't waste your 20s chasing a ghost. The call ended. Maya sat in the empty house and realized she had a choice to make. Go to the Oscars, or keep searching for a man who didn't want to be found. She went to the Oscars, because Claire was right. She couldn't spend the rest of her life chasing Ethan Cole. She'd worked too hard, come too far, and maybe winning the Oscar would give her closure, proof that she'd made it, even without him. But when she won, when she stood on that stage holding the statue she dreamed about her whole life, all she could think about was Ethan, how he should have been there, how none of it meant anything without him. And that's when her phone rang, and Claire's voice said the words that shattered everything. He never loved you. But here's what Maya didn't know. Here's what Claire didn't know either. The truth was more complicated than either of them understood, because Ethan had loved Maya Rivers, and that's exactly why he left. Maya left the Crown Theater at 11:47 p.m., didn't go to the after parties, didn't celebrate. She went home, sat on the floor of Ethan's office, the Oscar statue next to her, and she finally let herself break. All the pain she'd been holding back for 3 weeks, the confusion, the abandonment, the betrayal, it poured out of her. She cried until she couldn't cry anymore. And then she started going through Ethan's files again, looking for something, anything. That would explain why he'd left. That's when she found the second folder, this one labeled, For Maya. Inside were letters, dozens of them, all addressed to Maya, all dated over the past 3 weeks. He'd been writing to her, Every day. He just hadn't sent them. Maya opened the first one, dated the day he left. My dearest Maya, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. And I know you'll hate me for it. You should. What I'm doing is cowardly and selfish and unfair to you. But I need you to understand something. I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I love you. I've been watching you become the actress I always knew you could be, watching you shine brighter than I ever did. And it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. But I'm also watching myself disappear. Every time someone interviews you and asks about me, I see the pity in their eyes. The washed-up actor and his protege. Like you're my last desperate attempt at relevance. And maybe you are. But you deserve better than that. You deserve to build a career that's yours, not Ethan Cole's student, not the actress he discovered, just Maya Rivers, extraordinary on your own terms. And as long as I'm in your life, that won't happen. My reputation will always overshadow yours. My failures will always be attached to your success. So I'm removing myself from the equation. I'm giving you the gift of distance, so you can become who you're meant to be without me holding you back. I love you, Maya, more than I've ever loved anyone, and that's exactly why I have to let you go. Maya read every letter. Each one was a variation on the same theme. Ethan explaining why he had to leave. Ethan cheering her on from whatever distance he'd created. Ethan apologizing for not being strong enough to stay and watch her outgrow him. The last letter was dated 2 days ago, March 10th, 2 days before the Oscars. Maya, I'm watching the pre-Oscar coverage. They're calling you the favorite to win, and I know you will. I wish I could be there. I wish I could watch you accept that award, but I can't, because if I was there, it would become about me, about my redemption through your success. And that's not fair to you. This is your moment, your achievement, your dream. I gave you tools, but you built this yourself. You don't need me anymore. You never really did. You just needed someone to believe in you long enough for you to believe in yourself. And now you do. So this is goodbye, Maya. Not because I don't love you, but because I do. Be extraordinary. You already are. Ethan. Maya sat there, holding the letters, and realized she'd been wrong about everything. Ethan hadn't abandoned her. He'd sacrificed himself for her, given her the space to become who she needed to be, even though it destroyed him to do it. The next morning, Maya made a decision. She was going to find him. She contacted the private investigator again, gave him the letters, asked him to analyze patterns. 2 weeks later, they found him. Ethan Cole was in a residential treatment facility in Oregon, dual diagnosis program, alcohol addiction and severe depression. He'd checked himself in the day after he left. He'd been sober for 4 weeks. Maya drove up the coast, 7 hours, arrived at the facility at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, asked to see Ethan. They said he didn't want visitors. She said she'd wait. She sat in the parking lot for 6 hours, and finally at 9 p.m., Ethan walked out, thinner, paler, older somehow, but sober. He saw her, stopped walking. Maya. Hey. They stood there, 20 feet apart, neither moving. You shouldn't have come, Ethan said finally. I found your letters. He closed his eyes. You weren't supposed to find those. Why not? Because they'd make you feel obligated to find me. And you're not. Obligated, I mean. Maya walked closer. I won. I know, I watched. You were perfect. It didn't feel like winning. It will. Eventually. Ethan, why didn't you just talk to me? Why did you have to disappear? He looked at her. Really looked at her. Because if I'd tried to explain, you would have convinced me to stay. And I couldn't stay, Maya. I was drowning, and I was going to take you down with me. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because I've done it before. To Claire, to Sarah, to everyone who's ever gotten close to me. I build them up, and then I self-destruct, and they get caught in the blast radius. I couldn't do that to you. So, you just left me? I gave you your freedom. I didn't want freedom, Maya's voice broke. I wanted you. Broken, messy, struggling. I wanted all of it. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. You say that now, but eventually you would have resented me. The drinking, the depression, the failure. You would have looked at me one day and realized you'd sacrificed your career for someone who couldn't get his shit together, and I couldn't watch that happen. You don't get to make that choice for me. I already did. They stood there in the parking lot, two people who loved each other, who'd built something beautiful together, and who both knew it couldn't work. Not now, maybe not ever. What do we do? Maya asked finally. Ethan smiled sadly. You go back to LA. You make that Brennan film. You keep being extraordinary. You live the life you've earned. And you? I stay here. I get sober. I figure out who I am when I'm not building someone else's career. And maybe someday, I figure out how to be proud of what I helped create without needing to own it. I don't want to lose you. You're not losing me. You're just letting me go, so we can both become who we need to be. Maya felt tears streaming down her face. I love you. I love you too. That's why I'm asking you to leave. 3 years later, 2026, Maya Rivers had starred in 6 more films, won a second Oscar, become one of the most respected actresses of her generation. She dated other people, had relationships, moved on. But part of her never stopped thinking about Ethan Cole. One Tuesday in January, she got a call from an unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Maya, it's Ethan. Her heart stopped. Ethan, I know I said I wouldn't contact you, but I wanted you to know something. What? I'm directing again. Small independent film. It's nothing major, but it's mine, and I'm sober. 3 years now. Maya smiled. I'm so proud of you. I saw your last film. You were incredible, but you know that already. Thank you. Silence. Maya? Yeah? I want you to know that leaving you was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was also the most important, because it forced both of us to become whole on our own. And I think we needed that. Me too. I don't regret loving you, but I also don't regret letting you go. Neither do I. Another silence, comfortable this time. Can I ask you something? Ethan said. Anything. If we'd stayed together, if I'd fought my demons while trying to be with you, do you think we would have made it? Maya thought about it. Really thought about it. No, she said finally. I don't think we would have. We would have destroyed each other trying to save each other. Yeah, Ethan said softly. I think you're right. But I'm glad we tried, even if it hurt, even if it ended. I'm glad we had what we had. Me too. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Maya. She hung up, sat with the Oscar statue on her shelf, the one she won without him there, the one that meant everything and nothing, and she understood something she hadn't before. Sometimes love isn't about staying. Sometimes it's about knowing when to let go. Ethan Cole gave Maya Rivers the tools to become a star, but he also gave her something more important. He gave her back to herself, and that was the greatest gift of all. Some love stories end in tragedy. Some end in happily ever after. This one ended in truth, and sometimes that's the bravest ending of all. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever loved someone you had to let go? Have you ever been the one who had to leave to save someone? Share your story in the comments. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button. Because love isn't always what we think it is. Sometimes it's sacrifice. Sometimes it's distance. Sometimes it's knowing that letting go is the most loving thing you can do. You deserve a love that makes you whole, not one that breaks you to build you. See you in the next story.